Well, hello, it's me. I wanted to pop in with the weird coloring on my face here. My window makes the natural light's really nice, but also it makes it like weirdly shadowy and splotchy on my face. So I'm like have this weird, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, ignore that. And the very unflattering angle here probably. I wanted to drop in and reiterate a couple of things and show you where you can find a couple of things on iCollege within the course outline document. So I wanted to remind you that Tuesday, the 25th, no class, don't come to class. There's no reflection due, but there is the quiz. So by Tuesday, you will have gotten your points for your self-analysis. And then quiz 2 is due by 11:59 p.m. midnight on Tuesday. So don't come to class, just have that sent electronically, either in iCollege or via email. Either one's fine. They both go to the same place for me. Then if you go from here on the left-hand side, well, let me clarify one thing too. It says, according for the second part of the quiz, so each section's worth 25 points, really simple to get full credit, just address all of those things. And for the second one, it says, according to Dory CP, what is the role of authentic resources in the classroom? Remember, our course outline works from left to right and then down. It zigs and then it zags. So here, where it shows the previous week, that needs to be completed by the 25th. So after here's September 18th in class. Now here's afterwards. This number 5, where it says read right here, is by Dory CP. So in the course outline, if I click on authentic resources and then click the link, it's going to bring up a Kentucky Department of Ed article, and the author is Dory P. right here, Dory Perugini. She is an amazing teacher out of the Northeast, and she's phenomenal, so we're really lucky to have her in our field. There is a series, and this was the series that we saw before when you chose 3 to mention in your reflection, so hers might have been one of the ones you chose, and in that case, then it's just kind of a quick reread. These are really nice because they're all written by teachers, and so, or at least, see, this whole splotchiness is so weird to me. Okay, well, whatever. Or at least people who have a lot of experience in the classroom. So they read really straightforward, they have great examples, and it's really fun. Dory is an elementary language teacher, and like I said, she is phenomenal. So she's going to talk about here in this particular blog post using authentic texts and resources. So that's where you can find Dory P. And you know what? I can actually just write that in here. I can just say Dory P. Hopefully it doesn't change the link there. So I'm going to underline it and make it black so it's a little bit more obvious there. So I hope that helps. Secondly, I've highlighted in the background both of the dates that we will have no class, and also put them right here in the right-hand side where I said no class. So I'll bold it as well. So don't physically come to Arts and Humanities 327. I will not be there. I mean, y'all can come and hang out, but I won't be there. So you're going to send in the quiz electronically Tuesday before midnight. So you've done this. Now zigzag over to this hand side, and this is the topic of reflection 4. So you've got formative versus summative. Basically, formative is not for grading, summative is for grading. So formative is like practice, summative is the game, if I want to use a sports metaphor. It's got really good info there. Targets versus objectives versus standards. Sometimes those get kind of confused. Your targets always lead to your objectives. And then your standards kind of are how you form your objectives. Proficiency levels and indicators straight from ACTFL, as well as what Bloom's looks like, Bloom's taxonomy, meaning the thinking levels, what that looks like in the foreign language or in the world language classroom, which is pretty cool. Lastly, I gave you a link to an Avant assessment page, a blog post, Performance versus Proficiency, that may help fuel your thoughts on reflection number 4. So reflection 4 is due by midnight on October 2nd. So that's like the assignment for 2 weeks from now. So no class on October 2nd, both the 25th and the 2nd, I have to attend like Teacher of the Year award thingies unexpectedly again. So that will be what's due the 2nd. October 9th, originally we had said not that we wouldn't have class. We're going to have class on the 9th, and we'll catch up with a few of these things, especially if any of them are confusing, and or any points that you want clarified in your reflection. Your reflection can have questions. You can say things like, it's a reflection. I'm still wondering about blank. That's the fun part of class discussion, is what are you still wondering about? Because if you're wondering it, you're probably not the only one. And then the midterm is attached to the calendar, but it's also here. So if I'm here on the left-hand side in October 9th, where the midway point is, I'm going to click on midterm, and I'm going to click on the MyGSU shared document embedded link. Up comes the midterm, and you can just print that out and rock and roll from there. There's the rubric. Full points will be 75 points. So as long as you address those things, bada bing, bada boom. And it's really straightforward. It just says briefly describe the following trends. You have all of the information in the readings from the previous week and that we've seen so far. If not, you can look it up, and it's really easy to find the principles of audiolingual, grammar translation, total physical response. We've mentioned it in class, but you're going to do a little further reading. And then communicative language teaching is basically the whole point of Bill Van Patten's book. While we're on the topic, he says on every page, practically, CLT, communicative language teaching. What are some communicative tasks? And like I said, everything's at the bottom. So bada bing, bada boom. Hopefully it's there and it's easy. You can send that just as a Word document, in a shared document, just as you have been your reflections. The formatting, normal, Times New Roman, 12, double spaced, just as you have been. So there's no surprises or gotchas there. And then those points will go in as well. So you know what? I'm actually going to, let's take a look at this. Any papers delivered in person past, let's say 5 p.m. Let's see. Let's just say received after 11:59 p.m. will automatically, because that's the syllabus policy. But since we're going to have class, that needs to be adjusted because previously it wasn't. So you can either bring a physical paper into class on October 9th or just send it electronically and not worry about it. So maybe you have some questions, we answer them in class, you go home afterwards, add a couple of things. As long as it's in by midnight, that's totally fine. I don't need a written copy of it because I can just print it out and read it. We'll address some of these pretty quickly. And then that'll be October 9th. So then we'll be back on schedule. So you'll go here to the right, and this will be the next step. So for reflection 5 for the 16th, and so on and so forth. So we get to get into some of the technology aspects soon, and looking at how they're used in like actual classrooms, not just talking about them in a book. I think that's pretty much everything. I'm going to keep double checking to make sure that all the things say the right things in all the places, and I'll double check that the calendar is updated. But your go-to resource would be the course outline, because I can update that as quickly as you just saw me do. So again, no class next week, no class the 2nd, and I will get in your self-analysis points right away, as well as your your quiz 2 after Tuesday after it's due, and then reflection 4 after it's due on the 2nd. So no class the 25th, no class the 2nd, and those items are due electronically when they say on those dates. So see you guys in a couple weeks. Hope that clarified any confusion, and let me know if there are any problems. Bye.